Every 40 seconds, someone in the United States is blindsided by a stroke. Could a small tweak in your walking routine stop yours before it starts? Today, you're uncovering 6 silent walking mistakes seniors often make, and one surprising habit to flip the odds in your favor. Type stride in the comments if you're ready. Take a quick sip of water, and let's bulletproof your stroll. Habit 1. Walking without water. For thousands of seniors, the daily lap around the block is more than a workout. It's proof they still call the shots. But remove one ingredient, plain old water, and that proud ritual can morph into a silent setup for a midnight stroke. Every decade after 50, the thirst signal in your brain fades like a dimming porch light. Lose a mere 1% of body weight in fluid, roughly half a pint, and your blood thickens enough to crawl through arteries instead of glide. Think maple syrup trying to sneak through a coffee stirrer. One slow slug is all it takes for a clot to settle in your cerebral cul-de-sac while you're dreaming. Here's a rule of thumb. Drink 250 milliliters, the top half of a 500 milliliter bottle before your very first step, then finish the rest within 10 minutes of kicking off your shoes. Planning to walk longer than half an hour? Slide a collapsible flask into your pocket and take a swallow every 10 minutes. Room temperature water wins every duel with ice cold. It slips through the gut faster and won't ambush you with stomach cramps. Still unconvinced? Ever wonder how a devoted daily walker can wake up unable to lift her morning mug? Meet Rosa Delgado, a 74 retired school librarian, Tucson native. 6 mornings a week, she greets the sunrise with a brisk 2-mile loop, greeting every cactus on the way. Hydration? "I'll grab a glass when I get back," she'd shrug. August rolled in at 7 a.m. with 90 degrees Fahrenheit heat and single-digit humidity. Over 12 months, those bone-dry strolls thickened her blood little by little, until one dawn, Rosa's left arm refused to lift her coffee mug. MRI confirmed a right parietal lobe stroke. Her EKG was flawless and her carotid arteries were clear, but blood tests showed thick, dehydrated plasma. Rehab put Rosa back on her feet, yet she now turns pages with her left hand and keeps a squeeze bottle clipped to her walker. Kidneys clear water more slowly, sweat glands grow stingy, and older skin leaks vapor even when you don't break a visible sweat. Throw in a breakfast coffee. Caffeine politely hustles fluid out through the kidneys, and the blood in your arteries turns into rush-hour traffic before you hit the first crosswalk. Your body whispers long before it screams, a random yawn, feet that feel oddly heavy, the tip of your tongue sticking to the roof of your mouth. Catch even one of those cues, hit pause, take a drink, then roll on, because waiting for full-blown thirst is like ignoring the smell of gas until the fire alarm screams. Tonight, park a full bottle by your sneakers. Tomorrow, follow the half before, half after rule, then post bottle up in the comments with how you felt. Do it again the next day. Momentum loves company. Think dehydration is obvious? The next habit hides in plain daylight, literally. Sunlight, champion of vitamin D, can rough up the lining of your brain's blood vessels faster than you can say sun-kissed. Ready for the next ambush? Habit 2 just stepped into the sun. Habit 2. Walking without sun protection. Picture the noon sun leaning over your shoulders. Feels therapeutic, right? But step outside at high noon without armor and water won't save you. Did you know 30 minutes of unprotected sun can stiffen your arteries more than a can of soda? Ultraviolet light jackpots, free radicals that rough up the lining of your brain's vessels, leaving them brittle, inflamed, and ripe for rupture. Ruth Spencer, a 72-year-old Sarasota retiree, loves the beach trail. "A little color never hurt anyone," she'd joke, skipping sunscreen to avoid the greasy feel. All winter, she logged her 5,000 steps under a cloudless sky. By spring, micro-tears in her vessel walls and repeated sun-driven blood pressure bumps primed a weak spot. One hot April afternoon, she felt a thunderclap headache, staggered, and collapsed. A CT scan confirmed a small vessel hemorrhagic stroke. No hypertension history, no cholesterol drama, just chronically sun-battered endothelium. Quick pit stop. If that sunshield tip just saved your skin, tap subscribe and ring the bell so the next brain-saving hack finds you first. Skin thins, antioxidant defenses fade, and older arteries already wrestle with oxidative stress. UVA burrows deep and releases reactive oxygen species. UVB ignites surface inflammation. Add the natural midday blood pressure crest, and you've cooked up the perfect cerebrovascular storm. Think of it as sandpaper on pipes already thinning with age. Use your shadow as a sun meter. The moment it shrinks shorter than you, UV intensity is in the danger zone. Shift your walk to before 10 a.m. or after 4 p.m. whenever you can. If midday is the only slot you have, gear up. Smear broad-spectrum SPF 30+ on every exposed inch. Reapply it at the 2-hour mark. Sweat counts as rinse cycle. Top it with a wide-brim hat, UV-blocking shades, and light UPF sleeves that breathe. Prefer tree-lined or shaded routes. They can chop your UV hit by roughly 50% and drop the ambient temperature enough to ease the load on your heart. Skin that feels tighter than usual, a dull temple throb, or a sudden wave of fatigue are the body's early flares. Duck into shade, sip water, and cool wrists under running water. Ignoring these whispers is like driving past a dashboard warning light because the engine sounds fine. For the next 7 days, move one daylight walk into the shadow window or suit up with full SPF gear. After each walk, rate your energy on a 1 to 10 scale and post your shade score in the comments. Think the sun is sneaky. The next hazard strikes when no one else is around to notice. Social isolation can drain your step count and choke your vessels in slow motion. Habit 3. Walking in isolation. Now ask yourself, who's walking beside you? Mile after mile in silence quietly rewires your brain's blood flow. Long-term studies show seniors who always walk alone shed about 1/3 of their daily steps and nearly half their stride speed within 3 years. That isn't just a stat sheet, it's cortisol climbing, inflammation flickering, and stroke odds edging upward. Meet Mrs. Mei Zhang, a 69-year-old recent widow and proud Garden Club member. After her husband passed, she kept their ritual of a nightly mile, alone, earbuds in, eyes down. Within 6 months, her weekly steps plunged from 28,000 to 18,000. Her pace slowed almost a minute per 100 meters. One chilly February evening, she felt lightheaded, cut the walk short, and went to bed early. The next morning, her left foot dragged. ER scan results? A small lacunar stroke. Labs crackled with inflammatory markers linked to social isolation. Human brains run on connection. Conversation spikes dopamine, which sharpens motor drive and steadies heart rate variability. Alone, cortisol creeps up, crushing endothelial flexibility. Inflammatory cytokines flare, thickening blood. Alone, arteries tense like an empty concert hall waiting for the band. Small stumbles go unseen, minor dizziness gets waved off, and that hidden dip in step count snowballs into cardiovascular decay. Schedule at least 2 of your weekly walks with a human or canine companion. A partner's pace nudges you faster, their presence melts cortisol, and accountability doubles consistency. No willing neighbor? Try a mall walking club, volunteer to walk rescue dogs, or post an invite in a local Facebook group. Studies show adding a walking buddy can boost weekly steps by up to 1,800 and lift mood scores by 20%. Over the next 5 days, recruit a companion, friend, grandchild, neighbor, dog, and log your extra steps, your tracker records. Post Buddy Boost plus extra steps you logged in the comments. Notice your playlist growing longer but your loop feeling shorter? Catch yourself skipping the hill when nobody's watching? Those are whispers of isolation stealing your stride. Text a friend, lock tomorrow's meeting time, and watch your arteries relax by sundown. The next habit lurks in the kitchen and can thicken your blood faster than any lonely mile. Habit 4. Walking on a heavy stomach. See that mountain of comfort food cooling on your plate? Give it 15 minutes and the fat sugar surge can thicken your blood by up to 150% and stiffen arteries for 4 straight hours. Sink into the couch and that sludge congeals. Stride smart and you flush it out. Welcome to the fork then foot equation that either saves your vessels or sabotages them. Meet Angelo Ferradini, a 67-year-old retired accountant and lover of bottomless pasta bowls. Friday nights were sacred. Fettuccine Alfredo, garlic bread, tiramisu, the works. He'd eat, wait an hour, then walk it off with a slow neighborhood loop. One March evening, Angelo felt his left arm tingle halfway through the walk. By dawn, his speech was slurred. Hospital scans showed a small right hemisphere clot. Cholesterol was textbook and blood pressure steady. The silent assassin was that nightly flood of fat and sugar turning his bloodstream to gravy, then a too-late stroll that failed to thin it out. Age blunts insulin's punch and digestion slows. Heavy evening meals flood the bloodstream with triglyceride-rich particles just as nighttime blood pressure dips. Thick blood moves slower, clots faster, and pools in leg veins the moment you sink into the sofa. Picture those triglycerides swirling like oil in a lava lamp, mesmerizing but deadly once they cool. Move for 15 minutes within 15 minutes of your last bite. A light walk, window shopping pace, can slash post-meal glucose by up to 40% and cut triglyceride spikes in half. Wait an hour, and most of the benefit disappears. Are you stuck indoors after dark? March the hallway. Conquer a few flights of stairs, or scrub dishes on your feet, because it's motion, not mileage, that does the healing. Trade the ladle for a measuring cup and dish a half-size scoop of carbs. Make lean protein the anchor, covering half your plate to blunt the sugar surge. Finally, earn dessert only after you've added 2 colors of vegetables. The brighter, the better. Belt pinching, eyelids drooping, pulse thumping a little harder? Those are arteries begging for backup circulation. Stand, stretch, sip water, and hit the 15 in 15 timer. Ignoring the signals until Netflix autoplays episode 2 is like driving with the oil light flashing. What heavyweight dish can you never resist? Drop its name below, no shame, so we can cook up lighter remakes in a future video. Food timing locked in? Perfect. The next hazard isn't hiding in your kitchen. It's riding on your spine. Habit 5. Walking with bad posture. You're hydrated, sun-shielded, walking with company, and timing your meals like no other. So what's left to trip you up? Tilt your head a couple of inches forward, and you compress key arteries like a kinked garden hose. Every inch of forward head posture adds about 22 pounds of extra force on your neck. Now picture that extra load with each step, day after day, tugging at the vessels that feed your brain. Meet Geraldine Price, a 73-year-old retired court reporter who still types daily emails at lightning speed. Years of laptop hunching left her shoulders rounded and her chin jutting out like a turtle on alert. She clocked 6,000 steps a day. Great, except her posture turned those steps into a vascular stress test. One windy morning, Geraldine bent to tie a lace, straightened up too fast, and the world spun. ER scans found a tiny clot in her posterior circulation, the area most vulnerable to vertebral artery pinch. Her neurologist's first prescription? Posture rehab. As discs thin and core muscles weaken, older walkers rely on ligaments to hold their head up. Forward head posture squeezes vertebral arteries, while exaggerated kyphosis shifts center of gravity forward, forcing shorter strides and higher fall risk. Falls mean bed rest, and bed rest means slower circulation, a vicious stroke-friendly loop. Stand sideways to a mirror. If your earlobe sits in front of your shoulder seam, posture is off. Before every walk, spend 2 quick minutes on this reset. 10 chin tucks. Glide your head back until ears hover over shoulders and hold for 2 counts. 10 wall angels. Back flat to the wall. Sweep arms overhead without arching. 15 band rows. Elbows tight. Squeeze shoulder blades like you're pinching a pencil. Finish the trio and you'll step out standing taller. breathing easier, and giving your brain the clear runway it deserves. Try it right now, then comment "head high" if you felt the instant lift. Finish this trio, and you'll step out taller, breathing easier, and giving your brain the clear runway it deserves. Neck stiffness, a buzzing between shoulder blades or fingers that tingle halfway through your walk. Those are early red flags. Pause, reset posture, and restart. Waiting until numbness or dizziness hits is like ignoring a frayed phone cable until sparks fly. Now we have that posture straightened, let's look south to your shoes. Because even perfect posture can't save you from laces that sabotage every stride. Habit 6. Walking with wrong shoes. Your posture's dialed in, but every step still lands like a shockwave. Time to look south. Up to 72% of older adults wear shoes that don't actually fit. In studies, that mismatch shortens stride, slows pace, and triples fall odds. Falls that can seed clots or trigger bleeds faster than any bad habit on this list. Meet Walter Green, a 71-year-old retired mail carrier. Knees solid, heart ticking fine, but he kept his trusty sneakers 5 years too long. Soles worn flat, heel counters floppy. He noticed shorter steps, but blamed getting old. One rainy morning he slipped on a curb, landed hip first, and spent 8 bedridden weeks. Bed rest bred a deep vein clot that broke loose on day 10, lodging in a cerebral artery. Stroke out of nowhere, all because of shoes that couldn't grip or guide. Aging feet flatten and widen, arches sag, and fat pads thin, turning each footfall into a bone-on-concrete thud. Ill-fitting or overly worn shoes can't absorb that impact. Add slick sidewalks or uneven grass, and your proprioception falters. Each micro-stumble jars cervical vessels, nudging plaque and taxing balance systems already dulled by age. Size up at day's end when your feet are at full spread. Slide on a pair and check 3 quick cues. A thumb's width in the toe box, no more than a pinky's wiggle at the heel, and a midsole that won't twist like a rag. Log roughly 500 miles, about 1 million steps, then retire the pair before the cushioning turns to cardboard. Blisters, black toenails, heel slip, or new knee twinges are red flags. Swap shoes, don't push through. Ignoring them is like driving on bald tires during a downpour. Shoes sorted, spine straight, and every other habit locked. Time for one final twist. An oddball mouth move that cranks up calorie burn without breaking stride. Surprise hack, chewing sugar-free gum. You've tuned every stride from head to heel. Now let your jaw pick up the pace. Chewing sugar-free gum while you walk can lift your heart rate by up to 10 beats a minute and burn about 15% more calories without you even noticing. It's the sneakiest turbo button your body owns. Ask Doris Campbell, a 70-year-old former choir director. Knee arthritis capped her walking speed until a grandkid dared her to march and munch on peppermint gum. The rhythm ticked like a metronome. Her smartwatch clocked an extra 300 steps in the same park loop, and her breathing felt easier. 6 weeks later, Doris's cardiologist celebrated a 2-point drop in resting blood pressure. No meds changed, just gum. Rhythmic chewing activates the trigeminal nerve, sending a gentle wake-up jolt through the brainstem. That stimulatory loop bumps sympathetic tone just enough to raise cadence and stride length. Think of it as an internal drummer syncing your feet to a steadier beat. And as a bonus, the minty scent pulls more cool air into nasal passages, easing perceived effort. Here's the drill. Pop a stick of sugar-free gum right before you roll. Xylitol sweetened if your dentist gives the nod. Let the chew set the tempo. 1 bite for every second step keeps cadence smooth. Cap the groove after 45 minutes to spare your jaw, and if you wear dentures or wrestle with TMJ, start shorter and softer. When the flavor fades, spit and swap. Next outing, fresh piece, fresh boost. Feel a click, pop, or dull ache near the ear. Ease chewing for 30 seconds and reset rhythm. Pain that lingers? Skip the gum until a dentist rules out TMJ flare-ups. 6 fixes and 1 minty twist. Your stride is now a stroke-proof superpower. Hydrate before the laces tighten, shield your skin, walk with a buddy, move right after meals, stand tall, fit your feet, and let a piece of gum set the rhythm. These micro-shifts compound into decades of sharper memory, steadier speech, and true independence. Now your turn. Which habit will you lock in first? Type the number 1 through 6, or G for gum, and tell us the time you're starting. Tag a friend who joins you, and we'll heart both comments. If today's tips helped, hit subscribe and ring the bell so the next brain-saving lesson finds you first. Share the video with your walking group, and let's turn every sidewalk into a stroke-free zone. Because every 40 seconds, someone's life changes forever. Make sure the next step you take changes yours for the better.